Welcome to Tansson TV Plus. Of course, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mom.
Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Yep, thank you for joining with us.
Yeah, we always love doing this, and Mom, I hope that you are doing well.
I am doing fine, Brandon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and Mom, what are we doing here today?
Today we're going to talk about the season finale of High Potential.
Yes, can you believe that we are already at season finale time?
That is so hard to believe. It's like this show just started.
But we'll be speaking about this finale, and Mom, you can go ahead and get started whenever you're ready.
Alrighty. I'm going to talk just about the episode itself, and then we'll kind of reflect upon the season. But on this particular season finale, crime becomes personal for the group. Oz knows one of the victims of a crime that does occur, and then he becomes a victim himself. And then at the end, Morgan actually receives a threat from this same person. And then toward the end, also, Karadec is able to actually provide information to Morgan about Roman. And so this episode actually kind of leaves us in a cliffhanger because we know who's committed the crime, but they have not found this person yet. And typically, this does not linger on to the people who are actually involved at the station. In this case, it involves two of the station people. We, of course, as I mentioned, Oz, and then, of course, Morgan. And when we're left at the end, Morgan is the one who has received the latest notice about this particular crime, this offender. And just so everyone knows, Oz is fine.
Yes, Oz is fine, and the fate of Morgan is yet to be determined.
Yes, yet to be determined. Yes.
But this episode was episode 13 of this season and series titled Let's Play.
Yeah, and I was really shocked that it was the last one. I know you told me it was going to end early, but I really enjoyed this show, so I was very surprised to see season finale kind of pop up on the DVR.
But thankfully the series has been renewed for season 2.
Yes, yes, thank goodness.
But yeah, and so diving in, first of all, what did you think about the episode itself?
The episode itself, I really did enjoy it. It was a little bit spookier and darker than it normally is, and that part I did. It felt you feeling a little uncomfortable because it was darker than the normal things that actually happen on this show.
Yeah, and I will say that having watched the episode, it disturbed us, but in an intentional way. Like, whereas the show, for the most part, has a fun mystery sort of vibe in the sense of I think just seeing Morgan in action, I think is just very comedic and interesting to watch. Definitely a dramedy. I think this episode truly left us with a oh, oh.
Yeah, it really did. It was very dark, and then I will say that both you and I had to watch something happy after we finished watching the show. So yeah, so this episode was really dark for us.
But it was memorable though.
It was memorable. It sure was. I'm sorry. And one other thing I kind of want to discuss was Roman, because even though this was a dark episode, it became a little darker because the gentleman who's kind of helping Morgan learn more about Roman actually was in this episode also. And so, just knowing that there's a deeper level to the Roman mystery was interesting to hear also.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see that it's all sort of coming together now, and that I like that we at least get some more closure as we're ending the season with at least knowing that someone does know about Roman, and that Morgan's able to take her skills to the next level. But I think it also is an interesting type of ending because it shows that now it's going from professional to personal.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah, but I would say the last time that it did this was the mid-season finale.
Yes, it did. Okay, I don't remember what the mid-season finale.
But the only other time it did this was with the mid-season finale that we'd previously discussed, where they took the police station hostage.
Oh yes, yes, yes. That was a little darker episode also because they did make it personal for the group there.
Yeah, and for those who haven't tuned in, we did discuss that episode back in December. But I whereas for that one, they just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. This one truly was personal.
Yes, yes. And this particular person is actually playing with Morgan's mind also because it involved puzzles, and that's something that Morgan's very good at doing and figuring out.
Yeah, and I know that you actually had a theory about that.
I did have a theory. My theory is something that happened during the episode itself was they kept mentioning Morgan's father. And they said that Morgan's father is just like she is. And so my theory is that Morgan will probably be kidnapped in the first episode and that they'll have to bring in her father to kind of help solve the crime. And it might be her father and her son because he also was like Morgan.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with your theory because I mean the clues are right there in today's episode or this most recent episode, I should say, and so definitely bring up the stakes with it, and we get to find out more about Morgan's character.
Yep, yep. We'll get to learn about her family. That's one thing they have not developed for this season was talking about her family. We just know about she and her children, and of course, and her friend Ludo, who's helping her raise her kids.
But yeah, and then transitioning a bit to the season as a whole. So overall, what do you think about this first season?
I absolutely love this first season, Brandon. This was, and we've talked about this. This was one of my favorite shows this season for hour-long dramas, and so I really, really enjoyed it. I thought they did a great job putting this together. It's a good premise, and I look forward to watching this for hopefully a few more years.
Oh, absolutely! I definitely hope the series has a long life, and I think the casting for this was phenomenal.
Yeah, they did a nice job. And even with her personal life, I like that they gave, the children that she has, I like that they show them on a regular basis too. So she is a true working mother, and I like to see both sides.
Yeah, and I like that they give everyone a bit of complexity and depth to them, and that speaking of the children, that like they actually get stories, and even if they're not involved with the main story, that they still have some development. For instance, with her daughter, she's trying to help her sort of mature a little bit, but then that seeing that she's kind of doing that on her own too.
Yeah, yeah, I like that they're doing that with Ava, that they're allowing her to grow as a character, and they're giving her own storylines. I mean, even the baby had her own storyline. So, I mean, I like that they are giving the characters truly a chance to shine, and so I like that.
Yeah, and even with her son Elliot too, being able to see their dynamics and the sibling dynamics. I mean, I think there's so much I think that you could probably go back and evaluate, for the show. But I definitely enjoy it, and I like that we're seeing Ludo a little bit more too.
Yeah, I am too. I'm too. And then another character I like that they're developing is Karadec. We kind of knew that he would be developed at some point, but I like that they actually are explaining a little bit by having his quote unquote friend who works for, I think, the FBI maybe. But anyway, and then in the law enforcement field, his previous partner. I like that they've brought him in and they kind of gives another level to Karadec.
Absolutely, and so it's definitely interesting that they're doing that. And yes, I did like them having the partner with the whole FBI episode, I believe, last week, which I really think that that could be its own show.
Yeah, I know. You and I talked about that. We kind of think that that could be a potential spinoff at some point in time. Um, but yes, no, I do like that they have included that.
Definitely. And definitely. And I will say that I know some minor changes with the series overall since the mid-season finale.
All right, what have you noticed, Bran?
I've noticed that even though, of course, Morgan's still in the forefront, this is still her show, is that now we're seeing more of like Daphne and Oz.
Yeah, we are, and I really like the dynamics that they have. So I'm glad we're getting to see more of them and how their role fits in with these particular characters. And then I also like Selena because as the supervisor, or I like the way she works with our group, and they've done a good job developing her character also. Even though we don't know a lot about Selena's life per se, we I like the way that they show her as the supervisor.
Yeah, and in fact, we even gave her her own mystery.
remind me about her mystery.
And in fact, even 2 weeks ago, we gave her her own sort of mystery in the sense of a unsolved crime that she had that her boss does not agree with.
Oh yes, they did do that, and they did once more a good job with that. How they let her kind of take the lead, even though Morgan kind of solved it. I like the way they let her take the lead to kind of solve this mystery that was unsolved years ago.
And yeah, and so I like sort of the direction that they're doing it, and to comment on some other minor changes. For instance, the elderly gentleman that we saw looking after the kids at the beginning of the series, he is yet to be seen, I believe, since the mid-season finale.
Yeah, not quite sure where he went, but yes, he has disappeared.
Yeah, my guess is that now that Ludo's looking after the kids a little bit more, that the older gentleman's that I don't remember his name of, I don't think he's as needed because Ludo's there for the children now.
Yes, yes.
Ludo right now, of course, is a recurring character. Is Do you think that they might potentially bring him into the fold for next season?
I think they almost need to bring him in because someone does have to watch the children while she's at work, especially the baby, since she has to. Well, she's a baby; she can't watch herself, so they need someone to actually help with that. So hopefully he'll remain, in the series, and then there was another character. Oh, and then we've given I like that they've given Morgan a potential boyfriend, or at least a boyfriend in the works. And that would be the gentleman who was going to school to be a nurse. And he's now currently working at one of the local hospitals, well, one of the hospitals. And so they brought him back for the season finale. And I did like that they did think about that.
Yeah, I really do like her relationship with Tom, and even though he has moved away, hopefully they still are able to manage the same sometimes. 'Cause I really like that the relationship that her and Tom have.
Yes, yes, they did. They're doing a nice job developing that. So overall, I think the show itself seems to be moving along really well.
But I also find it interesting too that the series also introduced a somewhat antagonist in the captain.
Oh, they do. They do. All right, tell us about it, Brandon.
Yeah, so in the episode where we're learning more about Selena's life with that mystery, we find out that the captain isn't particularly fond of Selena and some of her work, and even the existence of Morgan within the department.
Yeah, yeah, we do find that out. But I guess every show's got to have their antagonist on there.
But yeah, but I feel like the spot in which they position him, within the last 3 episodes of the season, makes me wonder if we're going to see more of him sort of creeping up and overstepping within season 2.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will.
But yeah, but Mom, is there anything else that you want to mention for the season 1 finale of High Potential?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and rate it like I've done some of the other shows, 1 to 5, 5 being the highest. But I'm going to talk about, at this point in time, the series rather than just the episode. So for me, overall, I would actually give the series a 5. I think this is the first 5 I've given. I just think that High Potential is a very good show. I think they've done a great job of developing characters, and the storylines move along. So I really like it. So I will give High Potential itself a 5. For this episode itself, because it left a dark feeling for me. It takes a lot to kind of get some sort of emotion for it. For some shows, I'd almost have to give that a 5 too, just because it did make you think a little bit. How about you,
I
Bran?
I 100% agree with you. To me, the series thus far is a 5, and the episode is a 5. I mean, the show for the most part, what I love about it is that it's able to give you like emotion based off of like the different episodes and the scenes. Quite a bit is a bit comical and like relief, but the despair that you see at the end of this episode, the way to end the season thus far. I mean, I like that I think both of us who were watching it together, we both felt it at the exact same time. And so I think that was really good, like writing, acting, directing all around. So, I mean, yeah, I'm very excited for season 2.
Yep, same here. And let us know your thoughts about High Potential. And let's see, anything else to add, Brandon?
No, not at all. I mean, this is a great series produced by 20th Television, and I look forward to seeing the show continue in reruns until season 2 begins.
All right. We thank everybody for watching today,
Yes, we definitely do.
and we'll see you next time.
Have a wonderful day.
All right. Bye bye, everybody.